From her early days as a budding starlet to her surprising pivot into the world of business, we're diving deep into the saga that's had more ups and downs than a Hollywood script. We've got drama, we've got comebacks, and we've got swimsuits digitally altered for your viewing pleasure. So, if you're ready for a tale of persistence, transformation, and swimsuits, yes, swimsuits, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and get ready to dive into one of the most fascinating career arcs in Hollywood. Let's dive into the roller coaster ride that is Jessica Alba's career, which is kind of like trying to climb Mount Everest in flip-flops. Ambitious but fraught with slips along the way. Jessica Alba, the name that brings to mind that cool girl everyone likes, but somehow didn't end up ruling Hollywood as expected. Starting off, Alba dipped her toes in the acting world with bits and bobs on TV, landing a gig, Beverly Hills, 9000 2010. Imagine being on set and playing a bizarre game of Don't Look Me in the Eyes with the stars. Sounds like a weird version of high school, doesn't it? She somehow managed to survive the Medusa gaze rule and kept climbing the ladder, albeit on a shaky rung. As the 90s were waving goodbye, Alba tried to catch the movie train to stardom, but kept missing it. The critics were tough, the audiences tougher, and the box office? Let's just say it wasn't ringing with joy for her. Then comes the 2000s, and boom, Dark Angel hits the TV screens. At just 18, Alba becomes the it girl, the talk of Tinseltown, thanks to James Cameron. She was the breakthrough star, basking in the limelight, and even getting a nod from the Golden Globes. But as quickly as the limelight came, it flickered out. The second season of Dark Angel took a nosedive faster than a stock market crash, thanks to a cocktail of bad timing and the post-9/11 world mood. So, after the sunset on Dark Angel, Jessica Alba's next venture was a flick called The Sleeping Dictionary. Picture this, a $12 million movie that kinda just existed. It sneaked into theaters without much fanfare, but got a warm reception from those who saw it. Yet, Alba wasn't throwing any love letters to this project. She dubbed it mediocre, and went as far as to say her performance was the cinematic equivalent of a facepalm. Tough critic of her own work, huh? But then, Honey buzzed into the scene. This was supposed to be Alia's show, but fate had a tragic twist with her untimely passing in a plane crash. A stark reminder of how fragile life can be. After a pause, Alba stepped into the lead role, and Honey managed to dance its way to success, both in theaters and in living rooms across the globe, even inspiring a few sequels. 2003 was a year of swings and misses for Alba in the blockbuster domain. She had her sights set on Daredevil and Pirates of the Caribbean, yet she found herself walking the plank. Daredevil passed because they thought she was a tad too youthful. Pirates of the Caribbean said, "No thanks," citing her Mexican heritage. Imagine that. In today's world, those reasons would spark a firestorm on social media, showcasing how far, or not, Hollywood has come in its journey towards diversity and inclusion. In 2004, Jessica Alba got her ticket to the big league with Fantastic Four, hoping to mimic the success story of X-Men. It was her moment to shine, to show Hollywood she could be part of a franchise that printed money while sleeping. But the universe had a different script in mind. While Fantastic Four didn't tank with audiences, critics were like sharks to chum, especially towards Alba, leading her to a dubious honor, her first Razzie nomination. 2005, however, turned the tide a bit. It was a golden year for Alba, commercially at least. Fantastic Four and Sin City both performing well at the box office. But then there was Into the Blue, diving into the deep end with Alba and Paul Walker. What was meant to be a significant role for Alba ended up being more of a cameo by her character, overshadowed by, well, scenery. The real drama, though, was about as skimpy as the swimsuits Alba wore. They were so revealing that the American Rating Commission was this close to branding the film for adults only. The studio had to cut back on the swimsuit action, and in a move that screams Hollywood absurdity, they digitally tailored Alba's swimwear in trailers for the American audience. Despite a hefty $50 million budget, Into the Blue barely made a splash, fetching $44 million worldwide. Critics weren't kind, often putting Alba's performance in the crosshairs. It seems her quest for that blockbuster hit was more like navigating through a minefield in a swimsuit, risky and exposed to critique at every turn. In 2005, amidst the whirlwind of critiques and less than stellar movie outcomes, Jessica Alba found a silver lining with Sin City. This dark, gritty adaptation not only wowed critics and audiences alike, but also snagged Alba an MTV Movie Award, proving she could indeed deliver a knockout performance. But even with all the applause, Sin City didn't make the box office waves everyone hoped for, leading to a sequel that took nearly a decade to materialize. And when it did, let's just say it made a splash like a pebble in the ocean, pulling in a dismal $13 million domestically against its $65 million budget. Fast forward a bit, and it seems like Alba's career became a magnet for critical lightning strikes, with each new project seemingly daring the critics to hit harder. There was a moment where she almost starred in Uwe Blood Rain. Yes, you heard that right. Thankfully, her no nudity clause acted like a career preserver, steering her clear from what might have been an iceberg in her voyage through Hollywood. Then came 2007's Good Luck Chuck. Here's where the title gets ironic. Stepping in for Jennifer Love Hewitt, Alba found herself in a movie that, well, let's just say didn't charm the critics or the audience. Despite not bombing at the box office, it was a dive in the ratings pool, with critics giving it an average of a soggy 2 out of 5. It's like Alba's career had its own choose-your-own-adventure book. But every turn she took led to more critics sharpening their pencils. With Awake, co-starring Hayden Christensen, Jessica hit a minor box office success, proving that sometimes the underdog can have its day, even if the critics' corner wasn't throwing any roses. This film, made on a modest $8 million, managed to rake in $32 million, a respectable haul that showed audiences were still buying what Alba was selling, even if it came with a side of Razzie nominations for both actors. Trying to sway the tough crowd of American critics, Alba picked films like Meet Bill and The Ten, aiming for that sweet spot of critical acclaim. But, alas, those picks didn't pan out, with critics sharpening their pens instead of laying down the red carpet. To add insult to injury, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer tanked so hard that it sent the studio back to the drawing board, leaving Alba franchiseless. 2008 was a mixed bag, with The Eye offering moderate success, but another Razzie nod, and then there was The Love Guru, a film so catastrophic, it's rumored to have put a dent in Mike Myers' career. Interestingly, Justin Timberlake sailed through the disaster unscathed, proving that Tinseltown's tides are as unpredictable as they come. After a short sabbatical, Alba came back in 2010, diving into supporting roles in films like Machete, Valentine's Day, and Little Fockers. Despite not being total flops, these films didn't do much to elevate her career, with Little Fockers earning her a Razzie for Worst Supporting Actress. As the curtain seemed to be closing on her acting career, Alba took a sharp turn into the business world, founding The Honest Company. What started as a small venture ballooned into a billion-dollar empire, proving that sometimes the best plot twists happen off-screen. Her recent projects, including LA's Finest and Killers Anonymous, haven't reversed the trend, but at this point, Alba doesn't need Hollywood's spotlight to shine. Over 40 and flourishing, in her entrepreneurial ventures, she's living proof that there's life after the credits roll. So, what do you think? Is there a second act for Jessica Alba in Hollywood, or has she found her true calling in the boardroom? Chime in below with your thoughts, and while you're at it, hit the subscribe button and ring that bell for more deep dives into the lives of those who've graced the silver screen. Catch you in the next video.